Kind of a frosty day here at the Gratu Orloff Mansion. We got some work to do today, so I'm going to, with no further ado, get to work, and you can come along with me. I'm moving a bunch of bookshelves, and while I'm doing that, I can show you what's on the bookshelves. And so that's, you're uninterested in that, then you need to go somewhere else. Let's see. But it requires a lot of intricate. Well, one thing I'm trying to do is just get things more organized than they were when I moved in, which is basically just trying to get books up and on shelves. But figure I'll do a broadcast, and that will force me to be accountable when actually doing work. Let's see here. So, come along with me, and we'll have loads of fun. We were in the middle of a Christmas broadcast last time, and we'll get back to that. In fact, I found some more Sears catalogs. Maybe, I think those are the ones that actually have toys in them. Maybe we can look at those later on. But right now, boy, I wish I had that tripod. It's somewhere. I'll find it eventually. Okay. So, I'm moving books onto this bookshelf, which I took out of the comic book room. Because if comic book boxes are going to be in front of a bookshelf and I can't get to the books, that makes no damn sense. So let's bring it into this room. And eventually, I'll make this a place that we're not ashamed of. Okay. Goddamn. Okay, so let's see. Here's a book. There's just not enough fucking light, is there? I'll get you up here. That's probably still not good enough. Yeah, that makes no sense. You need to be over here. Okay. Now, you'll actually be able to see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so this book will look cool on the shelf. Tales from Silverlands. So put that there. Here is Tales of Edgar Allan Poe. I like this little thing here. It says, I enjoy sharing my books as I do my friends, asking only that you treat them well and see them safely home. Yeah, okay, so that goes there. Okay. Tales from Shakespeare. How about that? Looks like this was part of a set at one time. Let's put that there. It looks very highbrow. And here is Dr. No, the first James Bond book by Ian Fleming. Now, it's probably going to be a book club edition. Yeah, see, it's a book club edition, and that's just not as valuable. Oh, well. On the shelf, you can't tell it's a book club edition, so it looks kind of cool. Alrighty. Now, we've got Tarzan of the Apes. Okay, so it's a Whitman Tarzan. I'm going to start putting Edgar Rice Burroughs on this shelf too. Here's Return of Tarzan. So put that there. And then also from Whitman, they had a series of books about Annette Funicello. So I'm going to put that in front of the Tarzan book. Here's another Annette Funicello book. I like this cover. Annette and the Mystery of Smuggler's Cove. Let's put that there. Okay, then there were the Whitman books that were adaptations of TV shows like Dragnet. Put that in front of the Annette book. This was a hand-me-down for my older brothers. They grew up in the 60s, I grew up in the 70s. So this is a sentimental heirloom. So I put that there now. This Man from U.N.C.L.E., also Whitman. This one I got later, like at a half price. It looks like I paid $5 at some point for it. I'm going to try to put these in order by when the TV shows came out. Okay, so here's a Munsters one, The Last Resort. Okay, Dragnet, which Munsters, Man from, okay. This is, I believe, a British book. Yeah, The Strange History of the British Horror Comics Campaign. Haunt of Fears. Okay, let's put the comic book related books here at the top. Oh, here's the ultimate comic book related book, Seduction of the Innocent. This is Frederick Wortham. A lot of these have the illustrations cut out because some people that work for comic book companies went to local bookstores and with a little X-Acto blade and cut those pages out because they didn't really like their. So anyway, this is the book that was responsible for most of the controversy. Like this, the way this muscle's drawn. Does it look like a female body parts? It's just a lot of this. All right, so we'll put the Seduction of the Innocent there. Actually, I think I want to put it here. Okay, here's actually old Edgar Rice Burroughs. Tanar of Pellucidar. Edgar Rice Burroughs. All right. See, by doing this show, I'm turning a chore, a drudgery into something that's kind of fun, and I'm reminding myself what books I own. So we'll put that with the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff. And this is Mastermind of Mars, which I think is the fourth in the Barsoom and the Edgar Rice Burroughs Martian series. These all would have originally had Dust Jacket. They've got these wonderful illustrations by J. Allen St. John, who is the original illustrator for these Edgar Rice Burroughs books. And, it's his art which should be accepted as definitive because Edgar Rice Burroughs was there and approving it at the time. So if you're illustrating Edgar Rice Burroughs, you should at least pay attention to what J. Allen St. John did. All right, so those go there. Now, I moved this bookshelf from the other room. This is a family heirloom. It's from the 50s, this bookshelf. There's pictures of me learning how to walk, holding on to this thing. So there's two. There's one down in the main room. Oh, shit. All right, so let's get some more books from the other room that I just took off to move it into here. Okay. Whew. All right. I'm going to move several armloads of books in here. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, first is this Dan DeCarlo book. Dan DeCarlo is a famous most famous for drawing Archie comics. He's probably the best Archie artist, along with Bob Montana. But most of us kind of remember this style. This is stuff from men's magazines, so it's a little strange to see this Archie comics kind of art with, kind of a Playboy feel. Anyway, let's put that up here with the comic stuff. Pin-up art of Dan DeCarlo. Wacky Packages, one of the big parts of my youth. This is from... Anyway, this is one of those books that has tons of pictures of Wacky Packages in it. You used to be able to get these at half-price books. But half-price books, there's only one around here about an hour away, and it didn't look to be that impressive. But I'll go back and see what it's like. Shit. Okay, what is this shit? Inaugural Addresses of the Presidents of the United States. Now, this is a cool book, but I'll let this one wait until I get some new bookshelves. Because I want to... And this... My Life in Prophecies. What is this? This book I don't remember owning. It seems to be autographed. So, who could this... Oh, wow. It's My Life in Prophecies by Jean Dixon. And it's got an autograph by Jean Dixon. And I remember Jean Dixon. She seems like she was in the National Enquirer all the time. It's possible this could belong to my wife. I'll have to ask her. But I don't know how I own that. I literally do not remember ever buying that. If I did, I just picked it up with an armload of books at an estate sale, and I did not know until just now that that's autographed. Here's more Edgar Rice Burroughs, Tarzan and the Golden Lion. Looks very much like a 1950s edition. Let's get this with the Tarzan books. See, we're getting everything organized now. The Lone Ranger and the Mystery Ranch. Let's get the Lone Ranger right there. What We Must Know About Communism, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put that up next to Seduction of the Innocent. The Beverly Hillbillies. And there's the cement pond. Okay, Beverly Hillbillies. I'd put that before Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and after Dragnet. Atlantis, the Antediluvian World, by Egerton Skies. No, it's a modern revised edition, but it's Ignatius Donnelly. Let's put that there. Ah, look, The Lone Ranger by Fran Stryker. Let's see, this is before the TV show, which solidified the look of what the Lone Ranger should look like. So this one's belonged to someone in West Virginia. Can't read the name. I think this is 1936. Okay, put that in front of Lone Ranger and the Mystery Ranch. Here's a Zane Grey book. Zane Grey. Let's put Zane Grey up there. Oh, look, it's Susan Atkins. Her Own Story. Charles Manson's woman, Susan Atkins, from Helter Skelter to her miraculous rebirth. Child of Satan, child of God. She converted to the other side. Street Rod, a story of young America's passion for speed. We're gonna put that by Rogue River Feud by Zane Grey. Basil Wolverton in Space. Bunch of reprints of cool Basil Wolverton stuff. Put that up here with the comic book stuff. Yes, indeed. Oh, this was a souvenir we got And I think it was 1977 when my family took me to see Carlsbad Caverns. So this is a sentimental thing. Put it there. Oh yeah, remember this book, The Arrow Book of Spooky Stories? This came out in the 60s. I think I have 2 copies. One I got in estate sale. One was inherited, handed down to me by my older brothers. So I like that. Party Stunts. How about that? Oh my goodness, it teaches you fun things to do at parties. And it seems like it's from a religious company based on the back, so it must be teaching you healthy, wholesome things to do at parties. Let's put that next to that. The Cat Who Came for Christmas. Yeah, I'll put that there. And this is Dan DeCarlo too. More of the Dan DeCarlo pinup art. Let's put that with the first. I think this is a local Texas author. Before I forget, Reflections Through a Jaded Eye. It's his memories of growing up in the 50s. It's a good book, but I want to put it on another shelf. It's my plan. Yes, indeed. Ugh. Let's get some more books. We'll do another Christmas show soon, but I got stuff to do, man. So it's Sunday morning, December the 11th, 2022. Wonder how many bookshelves and books I can move before the memory on the phone runs out. Okay. This is another book inherited by, handed down from my older brothers, War of the Worlds. We'll put that right before Dragnet. Whitman turned out a lot of these books for young adults. A lot more, to me, it's a lot better than Harry Potter. You know, there's a TV show on, my wife's having me watch, called Wednesday. It's based on Wednesday Addams and the Addams Family. And, you know, like, it's Tim Burton. I don't think Tim Burton understands a lot of the properties that he adapts, the intellectual properties. I mean, I like the Batman movie he made, but he had Batman killing people, and he had machine guns built into the Batmobile. Okay. Then he does Planet of the Apes, didn't understand that at all. He didn't understand Dark Shadows. And the thing about the Addams Family is they're like this weird beatnik kind of bohemian family. They don't have superpowers. They're not magical. They're not monsters. They're not the Munsters. So, you know, Wednesday Addams goes off to this kind of this boarding school, right? And it's like Harry Potter, you know. There's some that are that are like sirens, and some are gorgons. Then there's another high school clique that's vampires, another one that's werewolves. And you know, and Wednesday Addams is starting to get these telepathic seeing powers, and it's like, and then you know, Thing comes along with her, and of course, you know, he walks outside of his box because they started doing that in the 90s movie, but he's got stitches all over him and he's all dirty and grimy. And Wednesday never smiles. I mean, never. But maybe she's gonna later. You know, she's playing it kind of like Mr. Spock in the first few episodes of Star Trek. And then maybe she's gonna break a smile or two, like Leonard Nimoy started to do. You know, you could kind of see that he's really fighting to put on this front as the first season of Star Trek went on. We'll see. You know, I'm watching it. There's supposed to be this big moment where she dances to a song by the Cramps, Goo Goo Muck, which is a great song. And that's all over the internet. Everyone's excited about it, and all these normal people are starting to discover the Cramps and put it on their Spotify list. It's actually a rockabilly song by, what was it, Ronnie Cook from the 50s, but the Cramps covered it. But she does a dance that incorporates moves that Susie Sue did and that Wednesday Addams did in the original 60s TV show. Lisa Loring. I don't know. I haven't gotten to that part yet. But so far, I don't know. I'd rather watch The Real Addams Family, though, one from the 60s. Donna Parker. Put her here. Oh, another copy of the Beverly Hillbillies. You can never have too many of those, right, ladies and gentlemen? And then here is, okay, they put out this Doc Savage with really not too good illustrations in the 70s, about the time that the movie came out. So this is book number, that's the first one, Man of Bronze. So we'll put that there. Oh, another one inherited from my older brother's Land of the Giants. Okay, Land of the Giants. Let's get that right after Man from U.N.C.L.E. Here's the Munsters. This is my first exposure to the Munsters, was this book before I ever saw the show. This was handed down to me from my older brother Mike. So let's put this with that other Munsters book. Here's another Whitman book, The Great War, Stories of World War I. Put that there. Yeah, so Combat, The Counterattack. A lot better. So anyway, they've basically turned the Addams Family into Harry Potter, is basically what they've done. And with a mixture of Harry Potter, Sabrina, the Netflix Sabrina, there's a lot of that in it. Patsy's Mexican Adventure. I don't know. I put that up here. Patsy. Oh, look at this. That's a really nice illustration of Annette Funicello. So I've got 3 of these Annette Funicello adventures, apparently. And this shelf is starting to get full. So I might pull the Doc Savage and put him up here, because I've got some more Doc Savage from that series that I need to put there. This is a pretty fun book, A True Story of Carnival Life, in which the author focuses on it's about carny life. It's called Step Right Up. Dan Mannix. Put you up there, man. Oh, another Whitman book, Star Trek. Okay, Star Trek goes between Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Land of the Giants. Alright, we're running out of room, so I might take Tales from the Silver Sands and move it up here next to the Zane Grey book, because it looks like it would belong there. Here's another one of those little books, like that Wacky Package book. This one was sent to me as, this is really nice. Let's put it next to Wacky Packages. I could put it next to the Star Trek book, but it thinks, okay. I've got a book still in the shrink wrap. That's no good, but no, low battery? What? All right. I've got the electrical cord right here. It's a book by Lord Dunsany. I think I bought it from a friend of mine a few years back, and I must not have ever taken it out of the shrink wrap. Oh man, how am I gonna stand up? Mother. Oh, I wanna. Okay, there's power strip over here. So, Night Tiger was asking, if he comes and visits, where could he stay? And show you this is the guest bedroom, but see the dog is sleeping there. But I would clean the sheets, before visitors come. We've had visitors twice since we moved in, and both times I cleaned the sheets best I could. Of course, I'm assuming people are still watching right now, which is kind of a... This is Frankenstein. It's cassettes. Frankenstein. It's cassettes. So it's this. There's no way the whole. Oh, it's the 1932 radio broadcast. I was going to say there's no way all of Mary Shelley's novel is going to be on 2 little cassettes. So let's put that up there. Hannibal, Scourge of Imperial Rome. Let's put that up there. The Outsiders, we'll put that over here. That'll go on a future bookshelf. Irma Bombeck. Okay, that's not good enough to go on this bookshelf. The Many Loves of Casanova. It's the 4th big printing. Why is that such a big deal? They make it like, it's popular. We printed it 4 times, so people like it. So you better buy it because other people like it and it's popular and you want to be cool like them. I can assume that's the only reason why that would be. Okay. These Star Trek books I'll put in a bookshelf downstairs. They're photo novels. Came out in the 70s. This is humorous cartoons about the Japanese occupation after Japanese lost the war. Our soldiers were there occupying Japan, and there's funny little cartoons about Japanese girls and stuff. It's called Baba-san. This is man, I forgot about this. This is Fiction Illustrated. You remember this? I think there was another one that was the first volume had a hard-boiled detective on the cover. This is volume 2, a full-color odyssey into time and space with the crew of the Starship Destiny and the fantastic woman known as Starfawn. Volume 2 of America's first adult graphic novel review. I could have sworn this was Jim Steranko. Maybe the first one had Steranko art. This one does not appear to be Steranko, but anyway, it's a comic book for adults. It's a graphic novel, so it's okay to read it. Yeah, I forgot this even existed. But that's Starfawn. Flying Aces of World War I. Stories and poems about Pooh and his friends. First woman editor. Flying to the Moon. Do Cats Think? A Vote for Dick. Okay, these all go over here, and they will be put into a future bookshelf. The Bat Flies Low. That looks cool enough to put into this shelf. Oh, another. It's the Jungle Tales of Tarzan. Tarzan stories of Tarzan when he was but a young lad. So we have to put that with the Tarzan books here. Oh, another Tarzan book. Tarzan the Untamed. Tarzan, Tarzan. It just depends on. You can say it either way. It's like tomato and tomato, right? All right. Okay. Okay. That will go next to Jungle Tales of Tarzan. This is the famous book, Lalla Rookh. Lalla Rookh. It looks very fancy, doesn't it? The fuck is Lalla Rookh? An Oriental Romance by Thomas More. Yes, indeed. Very nice with this gold trimmed bullshit. I'm going to put it right here, right next to what we must know about communism. You know, there's a bunch of morons. You know, they build these houses with bookshelves, and people say, what do I put on that, man? I don't have any books. I had a copy of Jaws, but I sold that. So they either buy books by the lot, you know, and put a bunch of books up to make it look like they're intellectual, or they just put little flower pots there, you know, or little knickknacks because they're too stupid to own books. But I don't have to do that. I actually own books. Here's another copy of Tarzan of the Apes. Looks like I have 2 copies of this book. So do I put 2 copies next to each other on the shelf, or should I put this on a different shelf somewhere else? I think that would, yeah. I think I'm going to take this extra Beverly Hillbillies and this extra Tarzan and put them on a separate shelf. Just it'll look better that way. Here's a 60s Tarzan and the Lost Empire, but that probably should go with paperback books. Okay, back to this Lord Dunsany book that still has the PS. All right, I'll put it up here. I'll take the plastic off it soon. God damn it. The Best of Frederick Brown, edited by Robert Bloch. It's got a Richard Corbin cover. So, you know, that's pretty cool, man. Put that up there. Okay. Fantastic. Now, on this lower shelf down here is where I have a bunch of those reprints that they've been putting out from PS Art Books, the reprints of 50s horror comics and stuff like that. Because they used to have those really cheap at half-price books back in Texas. So I got a bunch of those. And now let's put them on the shelf. Oh, God damn it. Oh. Actually, I have some more of these. Here's another Edgar Rice Burroughs book with a Richard Corbin cover. So that means some of these, we'll move Susan Atkins' Child of Satan, Child of God up. We're going to move Atlantis up. We'll move Tales of Shakespeare up to give us more room for these Barsoom books. Here's Synthetic Men of Mars and Swords of Mars, another John Carter Barsoom book. This one has a Frazetta cover. That goes there. This is probably the most famous Frazetta cover for the Barsoom series, Princess of Mars. Okay, that goes here. Pirates of Venus and Lost Men on Venus. I'm sorry, Lost on Venus. Let's put that after the John Carter books. Land That Time Forgot. Also, Edgar Rice Burroughs. Now we're starting to run out of room on this shelf, so we're moving some other books up. Seduction of the Innocent gets moved up. Tales of Edgar Allan Poe and Dr. No. Monster Men. Okay. Another Edgar Rice Burroughs cover going up against the Martian Lion, which I think was called a Banth, and that's where George Lucas stole the name Bantha. Okay. Mastermind of Mars and the Fighting Man of Mars. And Gods of Mars and Warlord of Mars. That's the second and third Barsoom book. So Princess of Mars, Gods of Mars, Warlord of Mars is a trilogy that works wonderfully together. Okay, so we're starting to get things done here. All right. Okay. Pre-Code Classics, Dark Mysteries. I suppose I should try to put these in some kind of order. This is volume 2. It reprints the books with the ads intact, which is really important to me. Here's volume 1 of this with these books. Okay, so you got volume 1, volume 2. Okay, Dark Mysteries. And then I have Beware. This is about the only way I'm going to be able to afford these pre-code horror books. I mean, I've got retirement. I'm working a job now most every day, and we're still having a little trouble getting by. Adventures into Darkness, Volume 2. Adventures into Darkness, Volume 1. Okay, Adventures into the Unknown, Volume 10. Oh, these are, they have black backgrounds to try to simulate what it looks like to see a 3D movie in the movie theater. It's kind of like modern comics. A lot of these modern comics don't have white borders. They seem to have black borders. Anyway, that was an experiment done back in the 50s. So Adventures into Darkness would be after Adventures into the Unknown. Web of Evil will be at the end because it's a W book. Now the Harvey horrors. Harvey did horror comics, and they were really good, like Chamber of Chills. And anyway, this is Chamber of Chills, Volume 3. That would go between Beware and Dark Mysteries. Adventures into the Unknown, Volume 3. Okay. I have Volume 10, I have Volume 3. How I could ever afford to buy all of these, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than buying the real comic books, but it's still, there's so many of these. Forbidden Worlds, Volume 2. The thing, they did so many that I think they flooded the market with so much that people just couldn't buy it all. And there's a limited market. Just the average idiot that reads Miles Morales or Deadpool or whatever is never going to be interested in these old books. This is cool because I do actually own that book, that particular issue of Ghostly Weird. I think I paid about $15 for it, and it's a very pricey book now, so from what I understand. Out of the Shadows, Go After Nightmare. That's okay. That was volume 2. This is volume 1. This is The Unseen. Okay, that would be before W. That's volume 2. Here's volume 1 of The Unseen. Okay. What the hell is this called? Oh, Unknown World. Isn't that great? That looks like Norman Saunders art to me. Unknown World. Okay. Out of This World. It looks like I had these in alphabetical order in the other room because they seem to be showing up here in alphabetical order. The Heap, Volume 2. This is the original Swamp Monster before Swamp Thing, Man Thing, all the others. The Heap. Worlds of Fear, Volume 2, goes after Web of Evil. Worlds of Fear, Volume 1. Weird Horrors, Volume 1. Okay. I'll go get some more. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. The Great Pulp Heroes. I'll put that here. I got this at an estate sale. It's just a... The hell is that? This is just a textbook from... Well, the University of Texas at Arlington in Arlington, Texas used to be called Arlington State College. It used to be a military school, and they used to have the name... In the late 60s, a bunch of hippies were upset, and they needed something to protest about besides the Vietnam War, and the fact that their school had the rebels as their mascot, and had a whole... every year they had a Civil War ball, it looked like Gone with the Wind. And so anyway, they protested, and they wound up changing the name of the mascot to the Mavericks. Well, anyway, this has still got the original book cover on it that says Arlington State Rebels. So that's interesting to me, since that was the university I went to back when I was a small fry, back in before the dark times, before the cabal. Let's Draw Comics by Tony Tallarico. I've looked for this for years, and I finally found it. I showed it to you a while back. It's Tony Tallarico, who I hate, explaining how to draw comics, and very, very badly, very horribly, horrible artist. One of the worst, if not the worst, comic artist of all time. Looks like I have 2 copies of Tomb of Terror. Okay, so this is 1 through 5. These are soft cover ones. which are more affordable than the hardcover ones, but I would buy whatever I could find. This is volume 1 of Chamber of Chills, Harvey Horror. Okay. Sometimes the books that they reprint are different in the hardcover versus the softcover ones. Chamber of Chills, see, this collects issues 16 through 20. And then I have the hardcover one, and it reprints issues 14 through 19. So some of them, so it's not the exact, the hardcover and the softcover versions are not exactly alike, which is a pain. So it's either better to buy these softcover ones or the hardcover ones, but you got to pick. But at this point, I don't know how you even get these. Chamber of Chills. What? 21. Oh, that's weird. In this, it says issues 21 through 24, and then also number 5. How weird. Come on. Black Cat Mystery, also Harvey Horror. I'm just doing this all alphabetically. Witch's Tales is issues 17 through 22. This is 6 through 10. This is 1 through 5. Witch's Tales. Weird Horrors. Witch's Tales would go between Weird Horrors and Worlds of Fear. Here's another Witch's Tales. This is 15 through 21, but it's hardcover. See, the soft cover is 17 through 22. The hardcover is 15 through 21. How confusing. And then there are these really fancy ones that have a slip cover. Like this is Planet Comics. And see, if you put it on the shelf and you have all the books, it makes an image. But I don't have all of them. Here's another one like that, Forbidden Worlds. And see, it would probably spell out Forbidden Worlds and look amazing if you had all of them. But, you know, it's weird. I never see anyone showing on YouTube of their comic book room and showing that they have all of them that would look amazing. Okay. All right. What now? I'm going to take some of these books downstairs. Where did that Doc Savage book go? Up here? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. All right. Yeah, let's head downstairs. Oh, there's more of those PS Art books I didn't put in. Okay, I'll bring them up in a minute. Bring them over. Okay. So, you still recording? Well, yes. Okay, while I'm down here, I may show you some of those catalogs. But I'm just looking at this bookshelf here, seeing what I can change. I'm going to take some books out. A Foreign Policy of Freedom. That book can go on a future shelf. We've got cooler books we can put here. See, down here on this bottom shelf is I have a Doc Savage 1. No. I have 2, 3. What? Which one is this? I think that, does that say 6? I can't even. Or is that 8? I don't know. All right.
While the UN has the Netherlands shutting off the food, Australia shutting off their food, the Netherlands the third largest producer in the world, folks didn't know, and saying in the future they're going to artificially
What is this piece of shit?
Russia is ramping up food production, so is China.
Oh man.
Well, absolutely, and Russia.
Never. This. I didn't even know I owned this, but what the hell is that? Get that out of there. All right. Making room for Doc Savage books. So let's see. 1. Damn, I don't have enough light. That's 6. So 1, 2. Okay. Okay. So look at this Tarzan book on this shelf, and it won't look as I just don't like two books of the same thing right next to each other. And this Beverly Hillbillies book. Oh, I think I'm going to take this book upstairs too, the comic book, and I'm trying to get as many of these comic book related books together, because this is pretty cool. Gamblers and Gangsters, Fort Worth's Jacksboro Highway in the 1940s and 50s. That's a illustration used for Billy Rose's Casa Manana booklet. It's about what it used to be like in Fort Worth. Yeah, I've got a bunch of Star Trek books here. Let's pull these out. We'll pull out Thunderball. What is this? Someone wrote on this Barry Goldwater book. Says, "You want this? Thanks." Yeah, someone wrote. They're real excited about getting this book. Wonder if they wrote inside it too. Oh, they wrote on the back. What does that say? Okay, and then Paul Anderson, Orbit Unlimited. Okay, so if we pull those out, then I reckon we can get these this photo novel set in there. So now we've got a whole, almost a whole shelf of Star Trek, and then we'll, damn. Let's move some of these books over there. It's easier to get up off of a carpeted floor than it is off of a hardwood floor. That's why I'll make that excuse. Okay. So over here, what is this? Here's Blue Streak and Dr. Medusa. Maybe that'll be it. Let's look at those toy catalogs, because I promised you. This is the setup I had for my Christmas show. I had the Christmas tree, and I got this cheap plastic chair. And then since I can't find the tripod that Captain Strangelove sent me, I put this ladder here and this bottle of lotion or whatever for my wife. And then I lean the phone up against the bottle of lotion, like so, and then it looks very professional. Okay, got a couple of catalogs we can look at. Let me make a last minute search over here and see if there's any other comic book related books I can take upstairs.
You freeze people to death, you do everything, and I guess this is what is astonishing to me. People, there's no political solution. This is a spiritual problem. This is absolutely a judgment, in my opinion, upon the United States for all of its hideous child trafficking, the ancillary deaths, collateral damage, bombing here, bombing there. And it's interesting, Russia named their SAMAR, SAMART missile, actually ICBMs, Satan 1 and Satan 2, and they're aimed at the U.S. And I think people better understand something. Russia's change in nuclear posture, where they used to say that, well, we won't use nuclear weapons until attack first. We are watching attacks on Russian Air Force Base.
Let's stop right there. In the last 2 weeks, there have been a bunch of cruise missile attacks out of Ukraine on Russia. Putin came out 4 days ago, as you know, tell the viewers, he said, the West has moved its eyes on our borders. We haven't. And the West has said that...
Well, let's see what we've got here.
...our policy to a first strike, and we're very close to nuclear war, the closest we've ever been, and that was almost never in the U.S. media. Talk about sleepwalking in the thermal...
This is about the new comics in the 80s that were all hip. Like these. So, I'll put it as interviews with different people like Alan Moore and Spiegelman and all these people. These are all interviews from the Comics Journal, reprinted from the Comics Journal. That's pretty cool, because the Comics Journal had great interviews, so it's great that they've been collected in a book, and I wish they would do more of that. There should be a whole library of books. You could fill a shelf or two with all the great interviews that the Comics Journal did. But I forgot I had that book. But anyway, this is one of the important ones, one of the early ones. There was All in Color for a Dime, and then I think it was followed by the comic book. When I was in 6th grade and I went to the public library and I was interested in comic books, they would always have All in Color for a Dime and the comic book, and then you'd find your own copies of it, and there'd be a few other books on the history of comics, but cool stuff. This is the Sad Sack, the original World War II illustrations. All right. Got some Pogo books. The Pogo Poop Book. So they got into political stuff in this. I mean, it wasn't like as much as Doonesbury, but it was pretty close. As far as getting into topical politics and disguising it a bit, like Animal Farm. Here's the return of Pogo. It's incredible how things, there aren't kids today that even know who Popeye was. Pogo has been completely forgotten. Andy Gump, completely forgotten. I was saying that someone had filmed a silent Andy Gump film in the 20s, and I was watching that on YouTube yesterday, and then it linked me to there was an Andy Gump statue that was put on the estate of the cartoonist that was made by his community or whatever, and then when he passed away, his house was sold, and the people that bought the house didn't want the statue of Andy Gump, so they donated it to the town, and then over the years, people would behead it. It was destroyed several times and repaired, and then eventually completely. Anyway, they had to recreate it, and so it's still there. You can go see it, but it's not the original statue because it's been the target of all kinds of, hippie liberal attacks and scum. So anyway, this is I Am Legend. Watch it be a book club edition. Oh, it may not be a book club edition, but it's discard from a library. We don't want this book anymore. No one's checking it out. In the Woodland West branch of that's where the card used to be. So I got this at a library sale. Yeah, this was Richard Matheson. It's been made into a movie with Vincent Price, Last Man on Earth. It's been also The Omega Man in 1970 with Charlton Heston, and then it was called I Am Legend with Will Smith. And, that was not the best version, trust me. Okay, The Day of the Triffids. That's so cool, it has to be a book club edition. See, that's where you look, and it says book club edition, and then it's like, your heart sinks, because I guess they printed so many of the book club editions that they just don't have value. I mean, it's great to read it. It's still all the same words, but, it just doesn't have the collectability factor. This is one of the many books, I guess, that was cranked out to capitalize on Tim Burton's 1989 Batman movie. And interesting. It's what is in here? A bunch of essays on Batman. Batman, the ethnography. Notes from the Batcave, an interview with Dennis O'Neil. Batman and the Twilight of the Idols, an interview with Frank Miller. Holy Commodity Fetish, Batman, the political economy of a commercial interest. Batman and his audience, the dialectic of culture. This kind of shit you'd read in college, right? This looks interesting, though. This is like in 1970, breaking down the types of comics that are, if I can figure out how to read this chart, types of comic books preferred. I guess these are percentages. 3% romance, 8% war, horror, sci-fi, 15%, teenage, 10%, mystery, detective, 8%. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's oh, this is neat too. I was going to take this upstairs. I think I was talking to Captain Strangelove about this. It's the letters of H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard. Now you can talk to people all over the world through StreamYard. You can get on the internet and talk to people. You can text people that live in Japan. But in the old days, if you were a loner or you were the only person in your town that was interested in weird old cultures or horror, these are the letters between H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard from 1933 to 1936. These are all the letters they would write back and forth. These were not text messages. This is not LOL, ROFL. Did you see the picture of the cat I sent? It's like long scholarly letters back and forth. I mean, can you imagine? Uh, Today the communication. It's like, could I see what you and mom sent back and forth before you were married? Could I see all the love letters you sent back and forth? Used to be people would say they'd have love letters and they maybe could get passed down. It's like, these are the love letters back and forth between my great 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 blah blah and blah blah in during the Civil War, you know, and now it's like all it would be correspondence between a couple today is just like, see you later, LOL. It just um anyway, so this is what they would write back and forth. This is 30 to 1932. This is 33 to 1936. So those 2 volumes. I don't know if it's still in print. I got it from a friend of mine that passed away. It's called A Means to Freedom. Let me see. In case you want to order it, the company is Hippocampus Press. First softcover edition, 2011. Anyway, that's fascinating reading to me. Even if you, I don't know, even if you don't read their stuff, I mean, it's the guy that wrote Conan, and you know, this is a beat up fucking book. Spring and Summer 1954 from the Sears Roebuck Company. We live in deeds, not years. You know, some of these books you can tell sat in a garage for decades until you come along and buy them at an estate sale. I guess just about anything, if it just sits around long enough, becomes interesting. Just a wrapper for a pack of chewing gum. If 100 years pass, it's cool looking. Anyway, we're into the 50s and cool stuff like this, but you want to look at toys and all that. I am almost certain I've got wish books around here. I've got books that show toys, and I've got some catalog that shows all the whole Star Wars lineup and all that, but I'm just not finding them. Infrared. Wow. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Wonderful stuff. Yeah, people pay a lot of money for these 50s tables now. Televisions, antenna. Fascinating. Fascinating reading. The fuck? You can order all these books for $1.87. Well, fascinating. Oh, here's another one. Spring and Summer 1965. I was born in the spring of 65, so this is as old as I am. Oh, man. This guy looks a little dangerous. You wouldn't want him living next door to you. Okay. Yes, indeed. Get your pink scales, your carpet for your bathroom. This 1950s furniture looks so cool, but it's not comfortable at all. That's the problem. It looks cool, it's just not as much when you sit on it. Sit on it, nerd. Yeah, there's your Starburst clocks. Yes, indeed. That looks like a cool chair. I'd like to have that kind of chair.
I say this.
I'm not seeing toys.
Articles, whoever
So,
does
oh,
it,
or am I?
just put up on
No.
people's stem cells. You know, ladies
Oh,
and
your
gentlemen,
rifles for deer hunting. This is a place called Alden's.
being
I guess I'm not familiar with Alden's.
being absolutely dehumanized, and
Oh, look, you can get your Daniel Boone shirt.
they want to get rid of a part of the human genome that relates to
Yeah, Daniel Boone.
And Jesus said if he didn't show there would be no
They wanted to do a Davy Crockett series. So, you know, they got Fess Parker, who played Davy Crockett in the... I think Disney made 3, maybe 4, I think 3 Davy Crockett movies, TV movies, in the 50s, and it became a huge phenomenon. But they showed his whole life right up to his death at the Alamo, and then you really couldn't go anywhere from that. So in the 60s, the network wanted to make a Davy Crockett series, but they got Fess Parker, and they said, well, let's just make it Daniel Boone. He wore the same kind of hat. He might have lived a little bit earlier in American history, but yeah. Sure enough, let's take this shit upstairs, and we got shit to do, man. We don't have time for this nonsense. So what are you guys doing this wonderful Wednesday tonight? There's going to be a Christmas show. Night Tiger Comics is doing a live Christmas show. I think he and some of his friends are going to show off Christmas-related comics, and then the viewers are going to vote which ones are the best. And I'll vote for Graphic Man, because I'm sure his will be the best. And he usually gives away prizes and stuff on his show. So that'll be fun to watch. That's, I think, probably tonight about 5. Gotta wash my hands. They get grubby when I'm handling those old catalogs. Well, I had a Christmas show yesterday, but I hope people enjoyed it. Oh, I've got to plug you in before the power. You guys run out of electricity. Damn it. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, here's a Roger Corman book. How I Made 100 Movies in Hollywood and Never Lost a Dime. Gene Vincent, The Day the World Turned Blue. Great musician. You might know him for Bebop Alula. But here's Weird Vampire Tales. This is pulp. These are pulp 30 blood-chilling stories from the weird fiction pulps. But I seem to be running out of room on this top shelf. So I might get rid of that book. I'm trying to get rid of the books that don't look as cool, that maybe could go somewhere else, like these little tiny ones. Make this shelf look, these cassettes don't look good up there. Now that may give us enough room to put this giant book up there, possibly. Almost. No, let me take it something else. Come on, man. I will take out this book. That could go best on another shelf. All right. It fit in. How about that? How about that? All right. So we have some more of these PS art books. Forbidden Worlds, Volume 3. Okay, they shoot it directly from the real comic. They just scan the actual comics. In the old days, they wouldn't reprint these because they didn't have the technology to make them look as good. They figured if we don't have the original art to shoot from, the original black and white art, we just can't make it look good enough. But okay, Black Cat Mystery Volume 1. It's in one of these cardboard things, because if you put it on the shelf like that, you're gonna have this giant thing that says Black Cat Mystery and the guy's face blowing up from the uranium. So that goes here. Out of the Night, Volume 1, When the Full Moon is Bright. Comes a horseman known as... Look at all that, man. Out of the Night, Volume 1. Out of the shadows, out of this world, out of the night. Goes there. And then you've got Skeleton Hand. You are in demand if you can draw. The thing is, they make it look like newsprint, and then the covers, they print them more slickly, so it really feels like you get the experience of reading the real comics, kind of. Planet Comics, Tomb of Terror, Skeleton Hand. Okay. The Heap, Volume 2. Now, I had a Heap. Where is the... Oh, I have 2 copies of The Heap, Volume 2. Okay. Well, then one of these I need to put in another shelf, because I don't like putting 2 copies of the same thing next to each other on the same. Okay, this Frankenstein book got chewed up by Drew there. Drew got to chewing on it, which is a shame. Frankenstein started as a horror book, and he changed into a cartoon guy. This Dick Briefer art is crazy. He's got a nose that's above his eye level. But when Castle of Frankenstein came along in the 60s, they used that same logo at the top. So anyway, how about that? So that goes between Forbidden Worlds and Ghostly Weird Stories. Now, what I've got to do is move some more bookshelves, which probably... Once I get this done, it's gonna look pretty good, I predict. I gotta take the books off this shelf, and then I'll move it. There's I forget what he's called. He's the head Ultraman. He's like the father of all the Ultramen, as I recall. Clean all these little figures off. And I got to keep the dog out of here so she doesn't mess with anything. I got tons of Supermans. I may just do a couple of bookshelves and then rest because I don't know. The Unabomber Manifesto and a book about Charles Starkweather. You ever see the movie Badlands? It was based on Charles Starkweather. This is a good book, Fort Worth's Rock and Roll Blues, Rock and Roll Roots. They reprinted these Marvel black and white books in this tiny format. This is volume 3 of it. I guess I should get the other volumes, even though I have the original books. Look at this. The Complete History of the San Francisco Disaster and the Mount Vesuvius Horror, Death and Ruin by Eruption, Earthquake, and Fire. This book is terrifying, and it was written like right after that stuff happened. And this is another one like that. Lest we forget, Complete Story of the San Francisco Horror by Survivors and Rescuers. Yeah, it's stuff that you don't hear about. Now, there were, ambulances were coming in, that were drawn by horses, and people thought they were looters, and they were shooting at them. And then there were people trapped on top of buildings that were burning, and they were going to burn to death, so the police were having to shoot them up there on top, and people were seeing that happen because they thought it was merciful to not let them burn to death. They'd just shoot them so they wouldn't die by burning to death, because there's no way to get them off out of there. That was the thing about it is there was an earthquake, and then the pipes, people got out on the street, they thought they were safe, and then fire, then the streets broke apart and fire came up from under the street, and that's horrifying. Okay, I'm moving this bookshelf into another room. That's what I'm up to here. Oh, here's another one of those comic book books. I'll take it into the other room. The one I was talking about that came out about 1966. That was one of the first of the kind of scholarly books about comic books. It's called All in Color for a Dime by Dick Lupoff and Don Thompson. I want to put this next to the comic book on this shelf here. I'll move this Susan Atkins book because I can put true crime somewhere else. Soon this room is gonna, this third floor is gonna look kind of nice. I predict. Right now it doesn't, but. What the name of heck is this? Oh, I see. Yeah, this is gonna be a hell of a chore, man. Tell you what, I ought to probably do another broadcast once I get this stuff moved. Once I do this and get the bookshelf into the other room, maybe then would be a good time to there's a foreign Marvel comic. What I'm trying to say is, let me get this shit done, and then I'll show you books one, because it'll be a little easier. So, what I'm trying to imply is, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Take care.